Hey, Xiomy here. So today I wanted to do my June wrap-up. Now, I had an array of books that I read in June. I also participated in a readathon, so that's a plus for me. But I had a lot of books that I really did enjoy in the month of June. I think I only had one that was like, but overall, I really did enjoy every single book that I read. And I also noticed I speak a lot with my hands. So let's see if I put this down. Okay, now let's get into this wrap up because I really want to talk about this book. The first book that I'm going to mention is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas. I read this one because I really obviously needed to finish the series, and Air of Fire was a part of the readathon, but I really did enjoy this book. There was an array of emotions. Honestly, it wasn't an array of emotions. I had a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, I laughed, I sobbed, I fangirled so badly, and near towards the end, I knew that my ship had sank, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Selena did piss me off a lot in this book, but overall, I really did enjoy everything that happened in this book. There were a lot of twists and turns, and so many situations. Nehemia. Oh my God, Nehemia, you broke my heart, woman. She just broke my heart. But I loved, the things that were amounting to this book. I loved how many twists and turns you had, and honestly, it was beautiful to see something just develop over a while, even though it was basically for a moment. But overall, I really did enjoy this book. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I also participated in the Tome Topples readathon, and the first book that I read, well, not the first book, but one of the books that I read in that readathon was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. This is a bitter, sweet, romantic, lovely book that just had me sobbing, crying, which is the same thing, but it just, oh my God, I had so many feelings, and I loved Louise's quirkiness and her attitude, and Will's determination to what. But it was a very beautiful story, and it is a hard topic to get into, but I think that she did bat it out of the ring, or bat it out of the field. But it was a very good story. I enjoyed reading everything about it, and you do have a distinctive character that you just enjoy, and you do have Louise. Basically the entire story is told in Louise's point of view, but you do have also other characters that are being introduced, and I really do like that when they give you other perspectives of other characters, so you can actually get to know them, so they can be three-dimensional, and you can also be one with them and also feel for them, and just have compassion for them. And that's something that I really did enjoy in this book, and I loved this book. Honestly, I fangirled so much. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The next one is Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas. I don't know how I feel with this book. I mean, I go between like and dislike. I disliked Amon. I didn't like her one bit. I just had trouble getting into her. I even skipped her parts because it was just like, it was too much. There was like 500 plus pages in this book. Honestly, this book could have been like 300 pages, because it just went on and on and on, and I was like, oh my God, when is this gonna finish? But honestly, I thought I was reading a different book in this series. It was just something completely different. I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna say that I didn't enjoy it, but I did enjoy it. But there were some parts that just had me like, what am I reading? What is this? I did enjoy Dorian's, well, not Dorian's, what's his name? Rowan. I did enjoy Rowan's introduction in this book. He is a really sadistic, brooding kind of individual, but overall I did somewhat enjoy this book. I really want to finish it. I really want to know what happens in Queen of Shadow, so I really want to get into that one. But overall, this was okay. I'm gonna say okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, but I'm mind boggled, honestly. There are so many things that are happening that I didn't really care about. Honestly, I cared more about Abraxas than I actually cared about Manon, the flower loving wyvern. So you had to take basically like a break, so you had to read 2 comics, and I read Miss Marvel, the second installment in Miss Marvel's. I really did enjoy this book. I loved it. Obviously you get introduced new characters. Wolverine, you got introduced to Wolverine here. I do have to say that the drawings, or the illustrations, did make me laugh a lot, honestly. And then I read The Greatest Battles between Batman and Superman. Obviously this isn't anything new, but I hadn't read any of these battles, so I really did highly enjoy it. Some of them more than others, but I really did enjoy this book. The next book and final book that I read for the readathon, because I had another one in mind, but things happened. But the final one that I read for the readathon is Winter. Oh my goodness, this beautiful tome is 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I had more than a roller coaster of emotions. It was just, it's like basically when you are in those bumper cars that you're like bumping everybody everywhere. That's how I felt with this book. It was lovely. I enjoyed everything. There were moments that had me sobbing. There were moments that I couldn't even breathe. Honestly, there was a time when I was reading and then I was like, I let out my breath and I was like, oh my god, I wasn't breathing. But it was just a lovely story to read, and I loved how everything wrapped up and how everything just became even stronger, and these characters are growing even more in this book. And I honestly, I loved everything about this book. The plot twists and turns were just amazing, and the characters just, you know, made you want to become a part of their gang. Honestly, I love this book so much. I love the way it wrapped up. Honestly, I just can't say enough emotions, enough positive things about this book, because it was very lovely and I enjoyed every single part of it. It wasn't like I was bored throughout the book. Like, you know, it is a big book and I was like, oh my god, when is this gonna finish? No, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I even hated, well, not hated, I loathed Queen Lavanna even more in this book, and I was just like, yes. When two demises were struck upon, I was like, yes, yes, Lord, there is a God hearing my prayers up there. But honestly, this was amazing to read and I highly enjoyed it. The next book that I read was Rebel Springs by Morgan Rose. I was supposed to read this one for the readathon, but unfortunately, you know, a lot of things happen. You know, this is life, you know, just smacking you in the face. And something happened to my computer, I couldn't finish it. But anyways, Rebel Spring by Morgan Rose, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. There were a lot of things that were happening, some things that I really didn't care about, others that I was just like, you know, like, get into it. Basically, like, near towards the end is when it really does get enticing and all this action just starts to develop and start to twist and turn. And I'm starting to hate Magnus, like, a lot. You have no idea. I mean, I was hating him throughout the entire book, nearly towards the end, when it's like, sometimes you think that he's a redeemable character and then you're like, ugh. It just crumbles down. I mean, can you call him an anti-hero? I think he is. Sometimes I don't want to believe he is. Sometimes I just want to smack him. But there was a lot of things that were happening that honestly I was like, whatever. But anyways, can I speak about Nick for a minute? I mean, to me, it was rushed. To me, what was happening with Nick was rushed, because it was like out of nowhere, honestly. I mean, I'm not wrong with it, or I don't mind it, honestly. But it was just, you gotta give me bits and pieces in order for this to happen or for it to develop. And it was just like, pam, smack to the face. And I was like, huh, okay, let's move on. The final 2 books that I read, one was a reread, and it's Nora Roberts Morgan's Cross. I love this book. This is the first book in the Circle trilogy. This book just dived me into the realm why honestly I love this book so much. I read it and I tried to look for something that I didn't like, but it was nothing. There was nowhere in sight. I love this book. I enjoyed it so much. It's like, take a 12th century sorcerer and put him in the 21st century and his speculations are marvelous. Honestly, they just had me cracking up, and I love this book. I enjoyed every single character in this book. Honestly, this is 5 out of 5 stars for me. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And the final book that had me like, what the heck is happening here, is 6 of Crows. Oh my god, why did it take me so long to read this book? This is 5 out of 5 stars. This book was amazing. I loved every single character. Can I call some characters anti-heroes? Maybe I can. Others, I just marveled in them. I loved the backstory of every single character because it immersed you into the world of these criminals, so you can know what actually built them up to be the way they are. And I appreciated that was being thrown out throughout the entire story. I love this book. I enjoyed everything that was happening, and that heist, oh my god, there were moments that I was like, what's happening here? Please somebody tell me. And then it was like, oh, but you know, Kaz told me to do this, and I was like, oh my god, Kaz, I love you so much. Honestly, this man is a mastermind. Honestly, obviously there are things that aren't gonna go in his way, but overall this book was amazing. I loved every single bit of it. It wasn't like I was bored throughout the entire book. I just, honestly, I couldn't turn the pages faster, and I was like, I'm loving this. I'm enjoying this, and I want more. And that ending, what, you do not end an ending on a cliffhanger, man. It's a good thing that I read it now, because honestly, if I would have read it when this came out, I would have been PO'd. I would have been ticked off, honestly, because the ending was amazing. I have to admit that the ending was very brilliant, but like, what? Inej and Nina, I'm like, what is happening here? Why is this all happening to my favorite characters? But honestly, these were different distinctive characters that I enjoyed, and just diving into their world and becoming a part of them, it was something that I really enjoyed reading about. Well, that's it for my June wrap up. I enjoyed every single book that I read. Like I said, there was one that was like, but nonetheless, I really did enjoy all the books that I read. I want to thank you for watching. If you want to let me know your thoughts down below, feel free. We'll chit chat, we'll talk, we'll fangirl, whatever you want. You don't have to, but I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.